Chapter 5. A New Day. Kaizen found himself back in the midst of his last mission. The familiar weight of his gear pressed against his body, each strap and buckle secured with the precision of habit. The cool night air whispered through the trees, carrying the faint scent of earth and foliage. The distant murmur of the city, a low hum of life, created a vivid, almost comforting backdrop to the silence that enveloped him. He was once again infiltrating Lord Naruto's estate, moving with the precision and skill honed through years of relentless training. Every detail of the mission came flooding back with startling clarity. The estate was a formidable fortress, surrounded by high walls and patrolled by vigilant guards. He remembered the layout perfectly, the twisting corridors, the strategic placement of security measures, the hidden alcoves he had used to his advantage. Slipping through the shadows, his movements were silent and deliberate. He wore dark, flexible clothing that allowed him to blend seamlessly into the night. His target was a high-profile figure, a man protected by layers of security and entrenched in his opulent fortress. Yet Kaizen's approach was meticulous. His mind ran through the plan he had rehearsed countless times, each step etched into his memory. He recalled disabling the outer alarms, a series of deft movements and precise cuts rendering them useless. The guards, though skilled, were no match for his stealth. He slipped past them with ease, his presence unnoticed. Kaizen approached the mansion with a sense of purpose. The building loomed above him, its grand facade a testament to Naruto's power and wealth. He knew the path he had to take, each twist and turn through the grounds mapped out in his mind. Entering through a seldom used window on the second floor, he moved with the grace of a shadow. The window slid open silently, and he slipped inside, landing lightly on the polished wooden floor. The soft whispers of his footfalls on the floor echoed in his mind. Each step was calculated, each breath controlled. He moved through the dimly lit halls, the opulent decor a stark contrast to the grim task at hand. The tapestries and ornate furniture blurred in his peripheral vision as he focused on his objective. He remembered reaching the target's room, the heavy door slightly ajar, the anticipation coiling in his gut as he prepared to strike. But then, the moment of failure came rushing back with cruel clarity. As he stepped into the room, a hidden alarm triggered, a high-pitched beep that shattered the silence like glass breaking in a tranquil room. It was an unforeseen contingency, a flaw in his otherwise perfect plan. The sudden flood of guards caught him off guard, their shouts and hurried footsteps filling the corridor, echoing through the mansion like a cacophony of impending doom. In the chaos of that moment, Kaizen remembered something he hadn't recognized at the time, a subtle detail that now stood out with glaring significance. As he replayed the sequence in his mind, he recalled the slight glint of metal in the shadows, barely visible beneath the rich tapestry that adorned the wall opposite Naruto's chamber. It had seemed inconsequential then, just a trick of the light or a misplaced trinket, but now he saw it for what it was: a concealed sensor, a last-minute addition to the security system that his reconnaissance had failed to uncover. His meticulous planning had accounted for everything within his knowledge, but this oversight hinted at something more sinister. Was it a mistake on his part, a rare lapse in his usually impeccable preparation? Or was it something deeper, a deliberate act of betrayal? He remembered the uneasy feeling he had before the mission, the vague sense of being watched. The organization had assured him of the mission's importance, but the addition of such a sensor suggested someone had known of his plans and had taken steps to thwart him. As the guards poured into the room, Kaizen's mind raced through the implications. His contact within the organization, the one who had provided the intel, had seemed reliable, trustworthy even. But now, as he recalled their last conversation, he noted the small inconsistencies, the way they had avoided eye contact, the slight hesitation before answering his questions. The pieces fell into place, forming a picture of treachery that he had been blind to in his focus on the mission. The guards surrounded him, their weapons gleaming in the dim light. He fought with the desperation of a cornered animal, each movement precise and deadly, but the numbers were against him. Injuries piled up, slowing him down. A cut across his thigh, a deep gash on his arm, each wound sapping his strength. His breath came in ragged gasps, his vision blurred with sweat and blood. As he parried and struck, his mind couldn't shake the revelation. Someone had set him up. Someone within his own ranks had wanted him to fail. The thought fueled his rage, giving him a brief surge of strength. He dispatched another guard, but the toll on his body was too great. He remembered the fierce combat, the clashing of steel, the pain of his injuries accumulating as he fought desperately. His movements grew slower, his strength waning with each passing second. Blood trickled from a wound on his shoulder. A deep gash on his leg slowed him further. The memory of the final blow, the crossbow bolt piercing his side, was still vivid. The sharp pain, the shock that spread through his body, and the realization that he had been outmaneuvered. As he fell to the ground, the world around him fading, he accepted his fate. His vision blurred, and the sounds of battle grew distant. The cold floor against his cheek was the last sensation he remembered. His life as an assassin was ending, a life defined by cold efficiency and silent kills. His final thoughts were of acceptance and reflection, a brief acknowledgement of the life he had led before darkness claimed him. The dream shifted, the vivid scenes of his last mission dissolving into a gentle haze. Kaizen's eyes snapped open, and he stared at the unfamiliar ceiling of the orphanage room. The harsh shadows of his previous life were gone, replaced by the soft morning light filtering through a white curtain, casting delicate patterns on the wooden floor. For a moment, disorientation gripped him. The transition from the cold efficiency of his final mission to the warmth of this new environment was jarring. He sat up slowly, feeling the unfamiliar weight and dimensions of his smaller, weaker frame. Memories of yesterday flooded back, exploring the village, meeting Kakashi, and realizing he was in the world of Naruto. It hadn't been a dream, he was truly reborn. A mix of emotions surged through him: relief at the chance for a new beginning, curiosity about the possibilities this world held, and a steely determination to make the most of this opportunity. This new life was a blank canvas, one he intended to paint with the skills and wisdom of his past. Sitting up on his futon, Kaizen took a deep breath, centering himself. This was his second chance, and he was resolved to seize it fully. Rising from his futon, he moved with deliberate steps to the small wash basin in the corner. The cool water on his face helped clear the remnants of sleep and the lingering sensations of his dream. He stared at his reflection in the mirror, taking in the sight of his young, untried face. His eyes, focused and intense, held the same resolve that had defined him in his previous life. Determined to start the day with purpose, Kaizen launched into his morning exercises. He moved through a variety of routines designed to engage his entire body, focusing on building strength, flexibility, and endurance. The familiar physical exertion was grounding, connecting him to the disciplined life he had led before. With his body warmed up, Kaizen settled into a meditative pose, cross-legged on the floor. Closing his eyes, he took slow, deep breaths, allowing his body to relax and his mind clear. He recalled the basic ninja technique book he had read the previous day, which described chakra as an energy flowing through every cell. Although the book provided a foundational understanding, Kaizen knew he needed to forge his own path, developing techniques that were uniquely his own. He envisioned his body as an intricate network of pathways, the chakra flowing through them like streams of light. Concentrating on his core, he aimed to feel the subtle currents of energy within him. Initially, his senses detected only the rhythm of his breathing and the stillness of his surroundings. However, gradually he sensed a faint warmth and a gentle pulse deep within. Focusing on this nascent sensation, Kaizen sought to cultivate it further. He imagined the chakra as a fluid current, branching out from his center to reach every part of his body. He directed this energy with intent, guiding it to his arms and legs, feeling the warmth spread. This exercise demanded intense concentration, but each small success marked progress in his journey. His goal was not merely to detect his chakra but to integrate this awareness seamlessly into his everyday existence. Kaizen wanted to cultivate a constant, effortless connection to his chakra, making it a natural extension of his being. This required patience and precision, qualities he had refined through years of disciplined training. In the stillness of his room, the only sounds were his measured breaths and the faint creak of the floor beneath him. The outside world faded away as Kaizen immersed himself in the internal sensations of chakra. The warmth grew more distinct, the pulse more responsive to his will. This tangible experience of chakra control was a crucial step, transforming an abstract concept into a practical skill. Kaizen's mind remained sharp, continually assessing his progress and making necessary adjustments. He visualized the chakra illuminating different parts of his body, mentally mapping out these pathways. This exercise demanded not only focus but also an understanding of his own limitations and potential. As the sun continued to rise, casting a warm glow through the window, Kaizen opened his eyes. The room came back into focus, but within him, there was a new sense of light and purpose. He was ready for the challenges that lay ahead, armed with the knowledge that he could sense and control chakra. The day of the Ninja Academy entrance exam had arrived, and Kaizen was prepared to face it with unwavering resolve.